What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock and what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to break down something crazy that's going on in the markets because, look, we might see the markets drop on Monday, but based off what Joe Biden just said, there's a chance the market might actually rebound on Tuesday through Friday, and because of the options chain, we might see the market actually squeeze a little bit to destroy shorts. Now, that might sound like crazy, that might not make any sense. But once I show you the data, once I show you the charts, once I show you what Joe Biden just said, it's going to make a lot of sense. Now, before I get started, though, I do have to mention a couple of things real quick. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NEO community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link down below in its description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you're guaranteed 7 free stocks plus free level 2 data. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends in just 3 weeks. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. Looking at the market has been on a bit of a downturn over the last couple of days. We're actually seeing NEO getting dragged down with the markets, and we are getting very close to CPI. CPI is actually going to be happening on Tuesday before the market opens. And Joe Biden just said something very, very interesting. You know, what's very interesting about this is Joe Biden is typically going to try to throw the blame on someone else if CPI ends up being very hot. That's typically what happens. He tends to say it's because of Russia, it's because of something else. But this time, when Joe Biden was speaking on Friday, Biden said, and I quote, "I'm optimistic that CPI next week will be in solid shape." He's saying it's going to be a good CPI number. Now, I don't know if he's going to be correct, and we have to be prepared for anything. Be prepared in case CPI is very hot, the whole market could just crash. But if Joe Biden is correct, all right, if he's right, the market might rebound and most people won't expect it or see it coming. Now, do I know if Joe Biden's right? I don't know. I really don't know. But there's a chance he might know something. He might actually know something. Who knows? Now, let's actually break this down. The fear and greed index is extremely fearful. People think the market's going to crash, they're losing their minds. But is the market really about to crash? It might crash over the next couple of months, but it might not crash in a straight line. There is a chance the market might rebound a little bit going into like next week if Biden is correct. Not just because most people are extremely fearful, but also because of the options chain. When we take a quick look at SPY, look at next Friday, we have quadruple witching, which means we have tons of options expirations. We have about 1.5 million calls out of the money and over 1 million puts in the money, a 2.04 put to call ratio. There are over 2.3 million puts and about 1.5 million of the calls. So the majority of investors, not 1.3, sorry, it's 3 million puts and about 1.5 million calls. I'm sorry about that, guys. That was a mix up. But the bottom line is the majority of investors are actually in puts right now, betting the market's going to crash next week. Are they going to be right? Maybe they could be. I mean, they were right about this week, right? People holding puts were on fire, but the market makers likely don't want that to happen with max pain at 400. CPI is a very manipulated number, so they could be trying to change it in some way so that they could end up coming out on top. There's a chance that that could happen, as crazy as that sounds. And if I was a market maker, I would try to push the markets up. For NEO's max pain is $10. It has a 43,000. What is that? 43,000 puts in the money, 43,000 out of the money. It's almost the same for the puts, but they have 240,000 calls out of the money, which means they are incentivized to try to push the markets up to get calls in the money. That's what they might try to do. Also, max pain's at $10. Very, very interesting stuff. I don't know if this is going to play out, but it is a real possibility. There was a slight increase in the short interest for NEO. Right over here, you could see millions of NEO shares were shorted. We saw over 2+ million, almost 3 million shorted. Maybe shorts are going to get squeezed to some degree. It's just a possibility. So I don't know what's going to happen, but one of the things I did do is I drew out this possibility on SPY. Am I promising that this will happen? No. but there is a possible head and shoulders developing, and this could end up playing out like this. There's also the possibility that CPI is hot, we don't get a rebound, and the market just like crashes. Imagine there's no rebound here, by the way, and we just straight up crash from here all the way down like that. But in the case of a rebound, what could actually be going on here? What could cause the market to rebound like this? Well, let's actually look at the possibilities. The ultimate trap would be you crash the market on Monday, let the market drop really hard, and we actually fill the gap in the 370s all the way down to where the 0.618 retracement is from a fib level perspective. And this happens to be where this bottom was previously, right? Forming a nice base for a possible bounce. Now, if the market does come all the way down like that, this could cause people to just panic, to start capitulating, right? We're actually seeing right here extreme fear from the markets. And then Joe Biden is saying CPI is going to be good. It's going to be in solid shape. Why is he saying it with so much so much certainty? Why is he so confident? I don't really know. He could be right. He could be wrong. Who knows? Or maybe he just knows something. Who knows? So be prepared for the market to just crash next week and etc. just in case that happens, but also be prepared for the possibility, which I think is actually quite likely, that the market drops on Monday, everyone starts panicking. Then down here, people start buying puts, they start shorting the market, and then all of a sudden, like Joe Biden is telling us, CPI is as expected. And the market just reverses. It's also correlating with quadruple witching, right? The options expirations. The market makers are going to benefit if they push the markets up when you look at this. Why? Because there's so many puts in the money, so many calls are out of the money. There are almost no calls, very few calls in the money compared to how many are out of the money, with max pain at 400 with a 2.04 put to call ratio. What does this tell you? If most people are shorting for next week, is the market going to crash? And are most people going to make a ton of money next week? I don't know. But the odds are making it seem like we might drop on Monday, get a really nice rebound off a either cooler than expected or an okay CPI. Maybe it's just barely okay. And then the market rebounds, the market keeps going, and shorts get squeezed like crazy. And this is actually just forming a right shoulder. That's what could be happening. A right shoulder is forming. And see how we have the left shoulder, the head, and we could be forming the right shoulder before the real drop that comes, right? A real drop. Now, why else do I think the market could rebound? Is because of, we could use the daily for this. Look at the RSI. When SPY was at 374, the RSI was in the 40s, 39 to 40 zone. The RSI is currently at 35. We currently have a higher low in the stock price of SPY. The price is making a higher low, right? Our low was in the 380s for this week compared to the low back here in the 370s. The RSI is making a lower low. Price higher low, RSI lower low. This is a divergence. I think it's still forming. So I think we could continue to drop a little bit more, and then we might see the market rebound and destroy shorts. That could be what they're planning. It could be a little game they're playing. They may have been willing to take the loss this week so they can make a lot of gains next week. I'm talking about the market makers. And it's just a possibility, assuming CPI comes in as expected, as Joe Biden is talking about. He could be completely wrong. He could be wrong and we could just straight up crash, right? That's another possibility. We might not even get this rebound. That's another possibility. Be prepared for that. But just in case Joe Biden is correct and the market does rebound, we might see something like this, where shorts just get annihilated, and then we see the market collapse later on. Okay? So this is just my theory. I think it's a real possibility, and I want everyone to be prepared for that just in case. What does this mean for NIO? For NIO, on Monday, NIO might come all the way down into like the 8.3 to even $8 zone. Then she might get a really nice bounce of CPI is good and start to rally back to the nines to start filling some of these gaps in the low to mid $9 zone. By Friday, it is possible for NIO to try to close close to where max pain is, and we might see a mini squeeze. So what would this look like? NIO comes down on Monday like this, going into like Tuesday for CPI day. let's just say CPI ends up being lower than expected. Always remember, you have to be prepared for anything. Okay, I'm not promising that that's going to happen. It's just a real possibility, assuming Joe Biden is correct. NIO and the market rebound, and then for the remainder of the week, going into like uh, the close of the week because of quadruple witching, because of the options chain, NIO gets a rally, a quick rally all the way to the mid nines, maybe almost $10. We get very close to max pain to squeeze shorts, and then by next week we start to slow down going into FOMC, and then we see the market really slow down, right? So once again, we might see a move like this. As we drop harder, we could see the shorts get trapped because they think the market's going to keep crashing, but instead we get a rebound. As we rebound, people buying calls up here get destroyed again because we end up just coming down ultimately. This is a real possibility, once again, based off the options chain, based off Joe Biden, and many different factors. Be prepared for anything just in case. You have to be prepared for anything. But I'm just saying, I think this is very possible because Joe Biden is very confident the next CPI is going to be in solid shape. I don't know if he's right. Maybe he knows something, maybe he doesn't. But based off what he's saying, what I'm showing you on NIO, the drop on Monday followed by a nice squeeze next week because of quadruple witching and also CPI possibly being as expected, followed by another drop going into FOMC and etc. That's a real possibility. SPY looking the way it is, this is also very possible on SPY. A drop on Monday, a rebound for the remainder of the week, then another crash, maybe after CPI, not CPI, maybe after FOMC and other factors that play a role in it. And this does align very well with a possible head and shoulders, right? We have the left shoulder, the drop, the head, the next drop, the next right shoulder, the next right shoulder here, then the next drop. It's a real possibility. The bullish divergence on SPY is making this real possible. Please be ready. Okay? I'm sorry, the bullish divergence is right here between this drop and this low RSI and then like this increase. All right, thank you all so much for listening. Enjoy your weekend. Remain calm, cool, and collected. I'll see you guys in the next one. NIO to the moon because the long-term future, the super long-term for NIO is still very bright. And peace out.